Welcome everyone to our 5th Veteran Community Resources Showcase. Today we're going to be covering the counties of Vernon, Crawford, Richland, Grant, Iowa, Lafayette, and Lafayette counties. We'll be bringing these events to Pacific Wisconsin counties every month throughout 2021. Please like our Facebook page so you'll receive notification about each month's event. If you'd like to contact any of our guests tonight, we will post their contact information in the comment section after the show. And now on our showcase. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Peter Barucki. I am the house manager of the R&R House. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I served from 2010-2013 as infantry. I served 1 year in Afghanistan where I received a Purple Heart. Now I'm happy to announce that the R&R House is open for overnight guests. And if you have any questions or would like to inquire about becoming a guest at the R&R House, please call us at 262-336-9540.
That's right, Pete. Hi, everyone. My name is Victor Kilpatrick, and I'm the project coordinator for the R&R House. I'm a United States Navy veteran, and I served from 1994 to 2002. Some of my duty stations include Naval Support Facility Diego Garcia. I was also stationed at Naval Hospital Great Lakes, and I also served aboard the USS Doyle Fast Frigate out of Mayport, Florida. We'll be telling you more about the R&R House a little bit later on in our event, but first we would like to welcome our first guest, Tabitha Don. Tabitha is the Region 1 coordinator for the WDVA Veterans Outreach and Recovery Program, and Tabitha states, as an American citizen, she feels that it is her duty to advocate for our nation's veterans. Welcome, Tabitha. Welcome, Tabitha Don. Welcome, Tabitha. Thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing today, Victor?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. So let's just go ahead and jump right in it. The first question that I'll ask, and I've kind of asked this to a lot of the Cvsos and the VORPs as well, but what are the situations that would lead a veteran to use the services from your organization?
Well, numerous veterans work with VORP have been turned away from other services and they don't know where to go next. So many of whom have been turned away from the other services are living with mental health and or substance use disorders and are struggling to make ends meet. A lot are also experiencing homelessness.
Welcome, Tabitha Don. Welcome, Tabitha. Thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing today, Victor?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. So let's just go ahead and jump right in it. The first question that I'll ask, and I've kind of asked this to a lot of the Cvsos and the VORPs as well, but what are the situations that would lead a veteran to use the services from your organization?
Well, numerous veterans work with VORP have been turned away from other services and they don't know where to go next. So many of whom have been turned away from the other services are living with mental health and or substance use disorders and are struggling to make ends meet. A lot are also experiencing homelessness, at risk of homelessness or couch surfing. Really, VORP is a case management program that works with partners to identify issues and barriers that may prevent the veteran from living the life that they want and uncovering situations to achieve their goals. Based on the needs and strengths and values of each participant and collaboration with community service partners, VORP connects participants to a variety of programs and services designed to meet the unique needs until they meet their goal. Some of those services include mental and physical health, healthcare through the community or VA, substance use treatment, claims and other benefits, employment, housing, and many other programs.
Thank you for that information. We've spoken with a lot of the CVSOs in your region, and one of the common themes that I've been hearing is that a lot of female veterans are not utilizing programs that you guys are offering, and also that the CVSOs are offering. Is there a reason, or can you shed a little bit more light of why female veterans are not taking advantage of the services?
I'm not certain as to why they're not taking advantage of services. However, we do get female veterans that utilize our services. So people of all backgrounds, regardless of culture, religion, race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression can participate in VORP, including women. VORP works with numerous organizations to help meet the unique needs of females. We do utilize or have females that we assist, and people, like I said, of all backgrounds, regardless of culture, religion, race, ethnicity, or gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression can participate in VORP, including women. So VORP works with numerous organizations to help meet the unique needs of females.
How has COVID affected the veterans in your region, and as well as how you guys provide them services?
Well, in all honesty, COVID obviously has affected everyone across the board. So our veterans are now secluded into their homes, and having VORP coordinators being able to reach out to them on a regular basis via caring contacts, emails, Zoom calls, just regular telephone calls, text messages. We're still continuing to outreach to those veterans. We just have to do it on a different format. But it hasn't slowed us down at all. We're still out there doing what we have to do for them, and connecting with all of our service providers through webcam and through the phone calls and through emails to get the veterans' needs taken care of.
Are there any other local veteran community organizations that you all partner with?
Yeah, so we partner with local CVSOs. So for me, I've got 7 counties that I'm covering. I partner with all of my CVSOs in those areas, as well as different Heat for Heroes organizations, energy assistance programs. We also partner with local shelters, St. Vincent de Paul's, basically all of your local service providers that will offer some kind of assistance for the veteran. Food pantries is a really good example that we utilize quite often. We also partner with the local COCs in our area. So Southwest Cap is one that I partner with quite often because it covers most of my counties. So we partner with those in rental assistance programs to keep them off the street.
One thing that I saw that stood out to me is that with having so many counties in your region, and at the same time with you partnering with all the CVSOs, how important are warm handoffs or those off handoffs to those CVSOs for the veterans that you're working with?
It's very important. So you need to have a rapport with the CVSO so the CVSO can explain to the veteran who you are, what you're doing, and how you're going to help them. And having that introduction, whether it be via phone because of the pandemic or over a webcam, is super important because we have to build a rapport with the veteran for them to trust us to actually help them. So it's extremely important to have that relationship and partnership with the CVSOs.
If a veteran in your region wanted to get in contact with you or your office, what would be the best ways to get in contact with you?
So we do contact through text message, via telephone, and email. I could be reached at 608-306-0390, and that's text or telephone. And you can email me at tabitha.don@dva.wisconsin.gov.
Tabitha, thank you very much for taking the time to meet with us this morning, and you have a wonderful day.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thank you so much, Tabitha, and thank you for everything that you do for veterans in Region 1. Next, we would like to show you a short video tour of the R&R House. As I mentioned earlier, we are currently available for overnight guests. You can decide to stay at the house by calling 262-336-9540.
And just so everyone knows, we'll be only using 2 bedrooms on each level of the house, and everyone will be required to wear masks and follow safe social distancing practices while at the R&R house. And as Pete said, next we'll see a virtual tour of the R&R house, followed by a interview by one of our peer support staff, Cameron Bento.
The R&R House is the first peer-run respite for veterans in the United States. Located in Pewaukee, this 4-bedroom house is in a park-like setting on 1.5 acres and offers a peaceful space for veterans to connect with state-certified veteran peer support and other resources based on their needs. The beautiful open spaces inside and outside of the R&R house create a welcoming feeling of home. A non-threatening, non-clinical environment for veterans to reconnect and facilitate a transition to the next chapter of their lives. All veterans are welcome, regardless of when they served or their discharge status. Services at the house are free of charge. The grant requires the respite to be located in southeastern Wisconsin, but its services are available to all veterans who live anywhere in the state.
My name is Cameron Bento. I served in the Army for 6 years as a combat medic. I did one tour in Afghanistan in 2012. I also served for about 2 years as a flight medic as well. So ever since I got out, I made the decision that my life's goal was to help veterans out, whether that's through transition, trauma, substance abuse, things like that. It's definitely about having open communication and building that relationship. I think a lot of times people can have this lack of trust when they get out and feel kind of abandoned and alone, and just kind of reassuring them that they're not alone, that there's other people who have gone through it as well, and that we're in this together. I think the most rewarding thing is when veterans come back and they talk to you about their experiences and how things have changed, but also those who maybe need a little extra help for whatever reason. It's also wonderful and rewarding to see that they're comfortable to come back and get additional help if they need it. And as well, knowing that you're also impacting their families, their loved ones, in a positive manner as well. It can't be understated. You're not just helping one person, you're helping an entire community of people.
In mind about the R&R house, you will need to call us yourself. It is strictly self-referral.
That's right, Victor. In the R&R house, it's always free of charge. You can stay 1 night up to 7 nights at the R&R house. No matter what your discharge or veteran status, to find out more, please call us at 262-336-9540.
Next, we'll hear from Laura Moore. Laura is a native of Wisconsin and a United States Army veteran who served honorably from 1986 to 1990 as a military police officer. She currently serves as Crawford County's County Veteran Service Officer and has been in the role since January of 2011. Let's welcome Laura. Thank you, Ms. Laura, for joining us today. So tell us a little bit about Crawford County and the veterans you serve.
So Crawford County is a rural, small community. We have just over 16,000 people, according to the last census, which is very rural. The veteran community is aging. We don't see a lot of newer veterans accessing as much as we would like to see them accessing. I think that pretty much, it's a beautiful area. If you want to see wonderful bluffs, beautiful river, we're on the Wisconsin and Mississippi River, so it is a gorgeous area. Housing is an issue. I'm sure it's for everyone now.
Thank you for sharing. That's great. Great information. I'll even ask, with the population aging, what percentage of female veterans do you think your office serves?
Definitely less than 5%. I can probably count on two hands how many female veterans we've assisted with benefits. Now, there have been some that have just walked in and said, "Hey, I'm here," and which is wonderful, but I would like to assist more of those ladies in accessing those benefits.
Unfortunately, your county is not the only one that there. A lot of female veterans are not accessing or utilizing different things that the Cvsos or the VORPs has to offer, and that was shocking to me. But when it was explained to me, I kind of it made sense. Basically, because my wife's not a veteran, but she's the glue that makes everything around here work. So if she was a veteran, I would think that, well, not think, but I've seen that a lot of females are, because, especially when they get out of the military, they're focusing on family. And if they're not married, they're getting married and just focusing on house things and work and that kind of thing. So I really want to make sure that we can reach female veterans and just let them know, hey, you guys have opportunities to do something different. If nothing else, is just in education. If you wanted to learn something new, I mean, there's a lot of different avenues.
Right. It's so cool. Most of the women veterans that I do have contact with are more on the spectrum of having that need for care, and they're usually in that 80 to 100% level. So service connected level. So that's the most that I have contact with. But I have had a couple contact me as far as that education part of it. The kids have gone out of the house now and we're getting ready to go into a new job, and I want to have a little more education, and they do a wonderful job with that. But that's few and far.
We're going to definitely make sure that we get the word out and let them know that it is available to them. So thank you very much for sharing that information. If the veteran population that you stated is aging, I want to ask, what era of veterans do you serve more in Crawford County?
So what I'm seeing the most of is Korean War, and in between Korean War, Vietnam veterans that are trying to access more of the healthcare benefits in getting long-term care, hearing aids, dental care, things like that.
When you're providing veterans with resources, how important do you feel those are warm handoffs or soft handoffs to those resources?
With an aging population, it's very important. They like to know who they're talking to, and they don't like using the computer at all. They frown upon that a lot.
One thing that I've noticed, especially while we were in the height of the pandemic, is that forced a lot of our older veterans and older population, I'll even say, to kind of become more familiar with technology and the computer and things of that nature. Do you guys have someone in your office to, if you had a veteran that came in that needed help with contacting maybe a doctor or contacting the VA, or is that something you guys would be able to help them with in your office?
Oh, definitely. That's one of the things that we really strive to do is get the veteran connected to the people they need to be connected to. Sometimes it's advocating in their place. Sometimes it's talking to those people that can get the benefits or get the help that they need. We do have a library here where we have a computer if the veteran wants to access that stuff. and they want it in a secure manner, we have a special office that's just set aside just for that. So say they want to have a meeting with their doctor, we can help in assisting with that.
What are some of the unique challenges that the veterans in your county face, especially during the pandemic?
So the things that I've been seeing through this pandemic is just the access to healthcare. To access the VA healthcare, there's caveats to how close you are to the closest facility and utilizing the community care. Most of the people in Perdicine qualify for that community care, but when you start heading outside of that, then we start seeing, oh, you don't qualify for it, you qualify for it. So it's a balancing act and accessing which facility is closest for that person in the county.
Another question that I've seen, especially since we've been doing these live stream events, when we've been dealing with certain Cvso offices, we've seen some smaller offices, some bigger offices, and things of that nature. What other than the Cvso in your office, what other personnel do you guys have in your office?
So I do have an assistant, an office assistant, and she actually runs our volunteer driver program. So she makes sure that a veteran can contact her, get the appointment information, and then get that person connected with a volunteer driver.
Tell us a little bit more about the volunteer driver program.
Sure. So the program is for veterans who need assistance in getting to their VA appointments. We had, prior to me coming on board, we've only had access to Madison and Toma VAs, and then the C-Box came on board after that. And so it was quite a haul for some older veterans to get to some of these larger cities to get the access to care. So we started a volunteer program, and we take the veteran to the VA appointment, or the volunteer takes them to the VA appointment, drops them off, brings them back, and then we reimburse them a certain amount.
Is there a limit to how far that transportation program will take a veteran to their appointment?
Yes. So the limit is actually the state line. Even though the VA is federal, my county does not want to do the whole state to state thing. And so that causes issues.
And one last question that I have, especially seeing the fact that you do offer the transportation program and things of that nature, what is the best way for a veteran to get in contact with you or your office?
So the best way is to call our office. The phone number is 608-326-0204, but they can also reach me by email. And we have my email is lmoore, LMOORE @crawfordcountywi.org. And
Is there anything special that they need to know as far as mask or vaccinations? Is there anything that they need to know in that realm?
Right. So currently the policy is if you come into the building, you are supposed to wear a mask. But our office is like in the corner of the bottom of the building. So the entry to our office is right at the entry door. So if they just come through there, we're good. I'm vaccinated, Cindy's vaccinated, we're good.
Great. Well, Ms. Laura, I want to say thank you for taking the time to be with us this evening in regards to our live stream event, and we will definitely make sure to post your contact information in the comments section. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Victor, for all you do.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Great information, Laura. Next, we'll hear from Sauk County Veteran Service Officer Tony Tsinski. Tony is a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, where he served as a combat engineer and weather observer from 1980 to 1985. Tony has been in his current role at Sauk County CVSO for over 16 years. Let's say hi. Let's say hello to Tony. Hey, so hi Tony. So you've been Sauk County CVSO for 16 years. How has the CVSO position changed over the years?
Hi, it has changed primarily from us being just a initial point of contact and assisting and informing to much more in-depth claim management because of the access that we have now. When I started, we were very heavily relying on the claims offices that were inside the VA regional offices for information about what was going on with the claim. And now we have little to no communication with those folks because we can see live what's happening with a veteran's claim. And what that has done is it's really allowed us to do a much better and more thorough job of managing that claim because we can see some potential pitfalls before they happen, and a lot of time correct errors before the rating decisions are done. And so it's shifted that that part of the process from the regional office to the individual CVSO offices. In addition, the amount of mental health claims that we do is much greater than it was back 15 years ago, and so we're doing many more of those, and it's a good thing for our veterans, but it is of course once again one of the more time-consuming, intensive processes that we do as well.
Okay, well, it definitely seems like things have changed over the years. What are some of the key things a service member needs to know prior of being discharged?
Just that the myth that if they check a box yes on their separation checklist, on their medical checklist, that they're going to be put on med hold and they won't get to separate out or won't separate out for many months. This myth existed back in 1985 when I got out of the military, and it still exists today. And it's the first place the VA goes to try to find a reason to deny a veteran a claim for service connection. So use that checklist. It can be a really helpful piece of evidence when, whether it's sooner or later, a veteran files the claim for service connection. And it really rarely does a veteran get put on med hold. It's really just a matter of getting it on the record, and so that myth needs to be exposed for what it is. And the other thing the veterans can do if there's still time enough is to get seen for what's been bothering them, to be seen again for something they were seen for that still bothered them. But I'll give a quick example. I hurt my knee in 1981, and they gave me a big bottle of 600 milligram ibuprofen. So when that knee bothered me several times throughout the next few years, I didn't go back to sick call because I still had ibuprofen left. The VA uses that against us to suggest that because we didn't go to sick call or didn't reinforce that that was bothering us on the record, that they have to presume that it resolved itself and my current knee problem isn't related. So it's documentation, and it runs counter to how we're trained and to the military culture, but it's crucial for the veteran and their family that they get that stuff documented medically, and then make sure and check the appropriate boxes on that separation checklist.
Oh, that's really good to know. Yeah, because when I was in that myth, it's still, like you said, it's still around. Because I remember, hearing that when I was getting out, and that's one of my biggest regrets too. When I was getting out, is not reporting everything that hurt, bothered me, just because, especially when you're in the military, you just kind of suck it up, move it on. You don't want to be that guy always getting, help while you're in the military. So
Exactly.
yeah, and I found it's very important to make sure that's documented. So yeah, thank you. How soon should a service member contact their CVSO after being discharged?
Immediately. The sooner the better. Even if they are on terminal leave, they should come and see us right away. There might be some things that can still be done if they haven't reached their separation date yet. But for sure, when they get to the county that they're going to be even temporarily residing in, at the very top of their list should be to make themselves acquainted with their local CVSO and get in their system and make that connection. The veterans have up to a year. If they file a claim within a year and it's granted, their effective date will go back to the day after separation. But so often we'll have a veteran that comes in 13 months after they got out and they get granted, several items, but they lost an entire year of payments because they didn't make that connection right away.
It's good to know. Are county veteran service officers able to assist veterans from any county in Wisconsin?
Yes, but with the big but. So we are, there's nothing legally preventing me from helping a veteran in a neighboring county, but I am a Sauk County employee, and my salary and my staff and all that is from the taxpayers of Sauk County. So we have to be respectful and mindful of that, and a veteran should always go to the CVSO in the county of their residence, unless there are some extenuating circumstances. Perhaps, we'll occasionally help a veteran from a neighboring county if they work in Baraboo, and it's just very difficult for them to make office hours in their home county, situations like that. But wherever possible, work with your CVSO. And we all communicate with each other. We share ideas. We help each other wherever it's appropriate. And so the level of service shouldn't vary a whole lot. Although, of course, because we're counties, it depends on how that particular county board or administration feels, regarding veterans and how much they want to support that office. So you do have some discrepancies as far as staffing levels go, but yeah.
Okay, that's good to know that you guys all do communicate and try to help each other out where you can, and I feel like that really helps with some of the gaps in veterans across the state.
Indeed, very important, very helpful. Yes.
Yeah, the last question I got for you, Tony, is what is the best way for veterans in your county to get in contact with you and your office?
So for us, a best way is a phone call or an email. We are frequently, all five of us are either on the phone or working with a veteran and walk-ins while our door is open and has remained so for the past year. It is a good chance, as not, that we won't be able to meet and greet and help somebody if they just walk in. So we have what we have set up here, which works really well for us, is we have our email goes to everybody in the office, as well as any voice messages that are left, so that we're able to respond in a timely manner and make sure that all the calls and emails get followed up on. Our office email is vetservice@saukcountywi.gov. And our office phone is 608-355-3260.
Perfect. Well, Tony, thank you so much for taking this time and interviewing with us. And we really touched on some good stuff. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Tony.
Next, we would like to introduce you to the Wisconsin Vet Center Veteran Outreach Program Specialist for the La Crosse, Milwaukee, and Madison regions, Wesley Porter, Richard Clark, and John Howe. Visit the R&R House YouTube page to view both Richard and John's interviews from previous shows, and we will hear from Wesley in a future live stream event. Also remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Next, we'll hear from Crystal Null. Crystal has been a veteran service officer since 2017 and Vernon County Cvso since March 2021. Crystal served in the Wisconsin Army National Guard as a heavy truck mechanic from 2000 to 2006 and was injured in training exercise which prevented her from deploying and staying in service. Welcome, Crystal.
Hello, I'm Crystal Knoll with the Vernon County Veteran Service Office.
Hi, Crystal. So first thing I got for you today is, can you tell us a little bit more about Vernon County?
Vernon County is the southwestern portion of Wisconsin. We're kind of sandwiched around. We have a lot of people who are really interested in making the county one of the better ones as far as places to live, very friendly atmosphere, a lot of trails, and a lot of things to do here in Vernon County.
Awesome. As a CVSO, what are some situations that you've seen that lead veterans to use your services?
We do have occasional situations where we have some flooding, which can impact a lot of Vernon County. And we've had veterans come in who have lost homes and need assistance for homelessness. We have veterans that need assistance maybe getting VA home loans, or if they want to use some other programs that we co-op with, like the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They have a lot of great loans and grants we can use for those situations. We have veterans who have never used a VA facility ever, and they finally were, in with them, and we help them get through the system.
Okay. How would you define the word veteran, and what does that mean for veterans you work with?
There's so many definitions for the word veteran, especially if you go state and VA. Basically, in my eyes, a veteran is somebody who signed their name on that dotted line and raised their right hand and promised to defend our nation. Maybe something happened to them that they got injured or something else that prevented them from performing to their fullest, but they still were willing to pick up the rifle and serve no matter what. So we will help out anyone, no matter their discharge, no matter, if you've served one day in service, you can come on in and we will help you out.
That's good to know, because some individuals might not be able to apply for certain benefits, but there are benefits out there. And if they just come and ask, you can help guide what they are entitled to and where they can get help.
That's correct. And one of the biggest things that we can do is try for a discharge upgrade. Or if we can't go that route with the Department of Defense, we can at least try to get the upgrade for VA purposes that would allow them to get access to the VA and the VA healthcare.
Thank you. That's really good info. What are some unique challenges veterans face in Vernon County?
With being such a rural county, with computers and everything else like that, it's very hard to get cell service and computer service out to some of these very rural locations. So our office is implementing it so we can have veterans come here, and if they want to do a VA video visit to get a doctor's to see their doctor or whatever, they can come here, use one of our computer systems in a closed room and be able to speak to their doctor or another provider and get the help they need without leaving Vernon County. So we're offering stuff like that. We also help them with if they have a job interview or different things like that, that we can get that taken care of for them too right here.
Perfect. That's really good to know. And what is the best way for veterans to get in contact with you and your office?
The best way to get in contact with us would be, you can call us on the phone, 608-637-5323, or email. Mine is Crystal, CRYSTAL, .Knoll, KNOLL, Vernon County, all spelled out, .org.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us today, Crystal, and taking time out of your schedule to go over these questions with us. You gave us a lot of good information, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Crystal, for everything that you do.
I agree, Pete. Next, we're going to hear from Lafayette County's County Veteran Service Officer, Sam Fuller. Sam is a United States Army veteran and completed over 21 years of service in both active duty and reserves from February of 2000 to April of 2021. In his spare time, Sam coaches youth hockey, and he also volunteers as a firefighter. Let's say hello to Sam. Welcome, Sam. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask starting off is, can you tell us a little bit about Lafayette County and the veterans you serve there?
Yeah, so in 2018, when I first took over, Lafayette County, by the census data, had roughly 960 veterans. Today, I estimate that being down to about 850 to 870. So in the last couple of years, with the funerals that I come across and the deaths of veterans, we've probably lost 100 veterans in the area. Obviously, we've probably brought in some, especially in the last couple of months. We've had a lot of younger veterans move out of Dane County into the more rural areas, probably just because of what is happening. So I picked up probably in the last 6 months, 10 veterans from the GWAT area, which is the Global War on Terrorists. That's the Iraq, Afghanistan time frame. Besides that, I think that's my county's pretty rural based. So the major income is from agriculture, and the second biggest one, surprisingly, is UTVs and UTV trails and tourism. So that's kind of like that's my county. We have 3 major cities. We're probably one of the lower population bases in the state. Because of that, I'm by myself. I don't have an assistant. I'm pretty much do everything. I do the VA disabilities, the pensions, all the way down to grave markers. So I'm pretty much a jack of all trades in this county, but not a subject matter expert on anything. The local counties, such as Greene County, they're one of my go-tos for mentorship. So when I got here, we have Clayton and Chris over there. When I have a question, I usually call them up, and they've usually experienced a problem that I have, so they kind of guide me through that system. So other than that, I work closely with Southwest Wisconsin, the Cvso Association, and we all work together as a pretty nice team. So if anybody has any questions or problems, I can reach out to one of those guys to help me out.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that information with us. I want to kind of expand on a little bit of something that you just said with you saying that the number of veterans in your county has dropped, and then some of the newer veterans. So what era of veterans do you think you service more of in your county?
Definitely the Vietnam era veterans. So most of the veterans here were drafted. So a lot of those guys, they only spent 2 or 3 years in the military, and nothing against that. They served their country. So, but most of them are Vietnam guys. So the younger, like I said, we got some GWAT guys, the Korean veteran, and I think I know of one World War II veteran here. Pretty much all the rest of those guys have deceased at this point. A couple Korean, but the majority of the veterans I serve are Vietnam time period.
So you were saying your area is more of a rural area. What are some of the let me rephrase that. What are some of the unique challenges that some of your veterans face in your county?
Okay, so I have an older population, and especially from this last year, I kind of discovered it was easier for me to almost do telephonic application process. So let's say somebody called me up and they were 100%, they wanted to do the Wisconsin property tax credit. It's easier for me just to keep them on speakerphone, and I type up all the information, get all the data, and then just go drive to their house and get the signature. So that's a big change that I did in the last year. Because the veterans are usually older, they're not more confident in computer and the modern day technology. So a lot of the things that we do, I actually physically do the paperwork and get it up there. Another big challenge that my county has is we don't have a government sponsored transportation program for medical services. So all other counties have some type of transportation service, have it be the DAV, the American Legion, or whatever the case may be, that actually is funded by the bigger state entities that actually figure all that out. So I had to create a volunteer drivers program. So I get a grant through the state. Well, I use the grant that the state gives me, and I pay a volunteer drivers to go pick veterans up and take them to their medical appointments. On that, it gets a little hectic because I have only 2 drivers currently, because a couple of my other drivers are also old veterans. So we have older veterans volunteering to take the other veterans, and those guys are slowly starting to decease too. So I have 2 major guys that do all that work for me. So,
well, one thing that kind of was actually interesting when I kind of read up on you, that you spent over 20 years in the service in both active and reservist. What made you, and you became the Cvso soon after you ended your active duty. What made you want to become a Cvso?
Cvso. So I was getting out of the military due to some family things. So I got out. I should have just finished up. I only had 5 years left, but because of some family issues, I got out. And I was kind of looking at the Wisconsin Department of Veteran Affairs when I got out. I kind of had I knew some people around there, some family friends. And then when I got out, that kind of fell through. And when I was transitioning out of the military, I already had money saved from deployment. So I bought a house. I had all the things set. And then for 6 months, I was interviewing for jobs and I wasn't getting anything. And then this opened up and I was like, hey, once I'm really good. When I talk to some veterans around here, especially the Vietnam guys, they have like more of a dark humor. So like when I talk to them, we really hit it off with the local guys, and the veteran committee here also liked my kind of style. So it kind of just fell into my lap. So I was looking for jobs at the time. I was interviewing for jobs in Dane County because obviously that's where the majorities of the jobs are coming from. But this job opened up. The guy before me retired. The people here in Lafayette County liked me, so it kind of just worked out. And since then, I really enjoy it. I'm one of the lower paid Cvsos in the state, but the work environment really, I really like it. I like the people. My Lafayette County allows me to come and go as long as the veterans are saying good things about me and I complete my work. So I overall like the environment.
It sounds like you, with your one-on-one approach, with you kind of walking some of the older veterans through some of the processes and things of that nature, it kind of gives it more of a personal feel of the kind, with you interacting with the veterans. And I'm pretty sure you guys probably on a first name basis over there, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep. I mean, I have guys that just come over, and I'm sometimes like their psychologists. I mean, I got one veteran who comes into my office once a week, and I know he has a lot on his table, and he just talks for about an hour. He feels great and goes back to his normal thing. And I really enjoy that. So, and it's in these small communities, reputation for somebody that gets passed along pretty quickly. So, the Cvso before me, there was a lot of veterans who there wasn't a connection there that were going to other counties, you know what I mean? And and so I've slowly brought back a reputation to the office where more veterans from our county are coming to visit me. So that's a good sign.
That sounds great. The last question that I have for you, I want to make sure that veterans in your county have a way of getting in contact with you. So what is the best way of communicating with you in your office?
My phone number at the office is 608-776-4886. If you are confident and you're on the computer a lot, just look at Lafayette County Veteran Office. I'm here. I'm in Darlington, in the courthouse. Everybody in Lafayette County knows where the courthouse is at in Darlington. Even if you're already taken care of, just come on in and we can just talk and just have some conversations, and we can build some relationships and see we'll go from there.
Sam, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity and talk to you, and thank you for all you do for veterans over there. You have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks, Victor.
Great job, Sam. Well, that's it for the event this evening. Thank you to our veteran resources with us here tonight. We will have their contact information for all the resources that are shown here tonight posted on our Facebook page. And remember, the R&R House is currently open for overnight guests. If you'd like to stay at the R&R House, please call us at 262-336-9540. Thanks for being here with us. Good night.
Good night, everyone.